If you would give a rousing round of applause for the Hemp Hall Extravaganza.
Hello there. Oh, nice to see you guys. You know, this is not the first time I've been in this hall. The first time I was in this hall was in about 1980, I think, when our farm band was on a European tour. And we had this fantastic tour where we didn't charge admission anywhere where we played. We didn't pay for having a hall anywhere where we played. And we didn't pay to sleep or where we camped out anywhere. It was a completely free exchange between the farm and Europe, where they set us up free. We stayed with the crackers, we stayed with the squatters, you know, like that. We stayed in Germany at a soy dairy. Germany had a place we could sleep and stuff. And we played in many places, including this room. And I met the most honest critic I ever met in this room. Because the main reason that I played with our band was because the band set me up and made me do it. They said, if you're going to, it started out that I went on tour and I started taking the band with me, but they got good, you know, and it started being where people was coming to see the band, you know, and then the band says, look, you're going to hang out on stage with us like this, you're going to have to learn to play something. And so they bought a drum set and said I was a drummer, and they taught me a boom chuck, you know, and so I could cruise with the jam at least, you know, but it was always something that they sort of like, you know, wanted me to do, and the idea was that like they thought some stuff looked like it came easy to me, and they liked seeing me do something that was not coming easy to me. So we're here in this place, and we come to the end, and I actually had a pretty good set that time because, you know, I had so much other stuff to do, I didn't learn the set very well. So this time I'd actually learned the set, so I finished with the other drummer and everything. Got the other drummer's the only reason we made it. And this Japanese tourist came up after and he says, you got to get a better way of drumming. You very bad. And I thought, man, what an honest cat. You know, it's true. And so I eventually bailed out of the band, but I had a lovely time with them. And I'm eternally grateful for them giving me the privilege to fly with them, you know, when they could flap their wings and I was just barely able to keep up. I've been hanging out with hippies for 30-some years now, and some of the things that people ask me about, that I just look back into that past of all those people, and like, I was asked about heroin and cocaine. And I can tell this guy honestly that I've been hanging out with hippies and turning on with hippies and going to hippie parties and having backstage passes at rock and roll for 30 years. And I have seen tens and probably hundreds of thousands of hippies in that time. And of all those years, I have seen cocaine once. And I have seen heroin never. In that many years of knowing that many hippies. You know? And that's the real truth to the real answer about grass being a gateway drug, you know, because that's where it's really at. Ma'am? Well, I know it was around. You know, I always know, I'm not saying it wasn't around, but I'm saying that among most of the folks, that it is not widespread and thick and heavy through this particular culture, you know. Oh, I know. And I had, you know, as a matter of, you know, historical thing, that the time that I did see it, the one time I saw cocaine, it was Jerry who was snorting it, you know? And I gave him a hard time about it, you know? Yeah, and it killed him too, messing with all that kind of stuff, you know? That's, I loved him quite a lot, and I went to go hassle him about stuff, about his health and stuff every now and then, you know, because he worried me. And younger man than me. So we're going to have, later we're going to have some music, and later, we're going to have some buds passed around and stuff like that. I'd like to take a few questions just about anything for a few minutes, and then get down to some folks making some statements about things they want to talk about. So anything you want to know about what here and now, what's happening with us, what's happening, with our movement, how... Yes, I am really going to run for president. It so happens that I have a column in the paper in Nashville that was the paper that Al Gore used to work for. And so I'm going to announce my candidacy in that column in the paper in his hometown, the paper he used to work for. So, the wire service has got to think that's funny. They've got to think that's cute. And it's going to go on out, because that's what I'm depending on. I'm depending on fun and humor and folks saying, well, maybe not so damn funny either. And start the hassle right there, and I don't want to, I hope he eventually wins. I don't know who else. Well, actually, me and Ida May are going to go for it. She's going to be the vice president. We say they always bitch about the vice president, and was the wife having influence, and why not just have her be the vice president and just take care of all that crap right off the top, And then we don't have to worry about it. Well, of course we share everything, And she just was waiting for me to announce about her until she got done with her being president of the Midwives Alliance in North America. She wanted to let that pass through before she started the next thing. I go around and I talk to people all the time about some of the outrageous stuff that we've done on the farm, And like some of it has become really outrageous, there's a guy from the farm who is the guy who thought up the idea of putting the delaying and averaging circuits from a fetal heart monitor onto a Geiger counter to make a Geiger counter that would have a stable needle, so you can have a reading and you could have comparative readings of things instead of the old-fashioned Geiger counter just went zoop, zoop, zoop if it was hot, So this guy invented that thing, and we still sell that. And we got a little factory on the farm where we got a little solder bath you can dip a whole circuit board in, and make our little nuke busters, and then we sell them to the anti-nuclear people as nuke busters, and we sell them to like cops and highway patrol and way stations and stuff as the radiation alert. And they're a real instrument, And so now it's come that they had 3 Mile Island. There was a court case about 3 Mile Island, and there was found that there was a sum of money was taken from the organization, from the nuke, and the judge said this money is going to be used to actually do a real monitor of this site and find out what actually comes out of this thing instead of having to argue about it in court. And the guy from the farm that did the nuke buster got that contract. So the farm is checking out 3 Mile Island to be sure that the nukes ain't getting out of that 3 Mile Island. So we're trying to take care of you like that. And then from that, we got into this next level of it where the little company that makes the nuke buster got a Department of Defense contract to design systems to put on the border crossings out of former Soviet Union to check for nukes leaving the Soviet Union. So we're doing our best, But it's like I said before, when it comes down to the likes of us, or who has fallen to saving the world, we're in deep shit. But on the other hand, if it's in our hands, we can give it a go, And when I tell you that stuff about the outrageous stuff we do, is because you should know that we're not any different than you. Some of us are you. You are some of us. Been that way, right along. And it's not like there was some special King's X that happened that allowed us to do this stuff. And no church or state or company or political body or anything in the world ever told us it was okay to do any of the stuff that we do. We just do it because we think it needs done and we think we can. And it helps, like I talked about the mountain gorillas the other day, how it just really nails me when I find another species getting so short like that, and it gets right to my heart. And I would just be sick all the time. if it wasn't that I got a little handle on it and I can woof on it some and I can make it move a little bit. And we learned back in the 60s, all us hippies learned back in the 60s, man, that you can grab a hold of the edge of the world and it will budge if you woof on it hard enough. You can feel that sucker budge. You know, and if you ever felt it budge, you can't leave it alone again. You know, you want to, let's get it more, man. And that's what I know, and that's what, you know, people like Paul and I who have been here in this thing for a long time, we're getting to be geezers doing this stuff, you know, come to tell you that we've seen people just like you for generations who had the nerve and whatever kind of gonads they were carrying to do it, and have been doing it, and I think we're the saving of the world. I want to say, you know, how much it amuses me for High Times to actually be revolutionary. I mean, we've heard that old crap about working from within for so long, but by golly, they're doing it. Just to pull off a thing like this. 10 years we've been doing this thing here, you know? What a coup! Oh! It would have been, you know, if we could teleport back to Haight Street and tell the hippies we were going to be doing this, they'd cream their jeans, man. Oh, you know, the thing it is that, you know, folks in the States say, well, the Dutch really like marijuana. I said, no, the Dutch don't necessarily like marijuana. They like freedom. You know, they like being considered a grown-up that can decide what you want to do, you know, and not think somebody has to tell you what to do when you're already working for a living. I thought the deal was that when you left your folks' house and started making your own money, you got to make your own decisions. Isn't that the deal? So, any questions about anything, or, you know, any of that kind of stuff? Yeah.
On the issue up in Northern California, like in China, where they're starting to sort of assail the Latino community. They're the ones that are like mostly Mexican nationals coming up, and it's sort of making it more incendiary.
I don't know about that, but I am really concerned about you know, where the United States is going about that kind of stuff, because there's several nasty little racist things that are cooking up. Like when they got Al Gore talking in the Buddhist church, you know, they acted like he had been having stuff with the devil, you know. I mean, like if he'd been in the Baptist church and that gone down, it might not have made the news. But suddenly there's this big thing about Asians and stuff, you know, and it reminds me back in the 20s, they used to talk about the yellow peril, you know, and this is that kind of blatant racism. And ever so often something happens in the United States, you see some little bubble of racism like that pop out, and I'm really concerned about it, and I feel like that you know, the hippies is some of the people to help out with that, because that's one of the beautiful things about being a hippie is it doesn't matter what color you started out or what language you started out talking or any of that kind of stuff. You get to be a hippie anyhow. You know, that's one of the blessings about it, you know. And it lets us, you know, have this great cultural stuff, you know, where we get to see other people's. I love the Rasta thing. It's got so much heart in it, you know, and Bob Marley's such a heroic figure. Just looming large on the skyline, you know, man. And those kind of cultural heroes give little kiddies pity pats and makes them want to do something heavy when they grow up. That's good. I like that. Yeah. In the medical sense, the marijuana, I think the California 215 thing was just a bell ringer for the federal government. Blew their mind. They had no idea, and they were doing stuff which I consider to be completely illegal. They had federal dope officers on federal money in California, out on the streets, going against Proposition 215. I thought the government was supposed to enforce the laws the people made, not go out and try to influence the laws the people are trying to make. You know, I thought that was completely out of line for them to be doing that. And yeah, the federal government was out there just out on the streets like they were Republicans or something, you know, like that, and doing it. And so they didn't know they were going to get beat. Then when they got beat, they said, oh, George Soros gave them all that money and we couldn't raise as much money as Soros did. Well, doesn't that tell you something if you can't raise this much money? Doesn't that tell you how much support you're getting? That's supposed to be something you understand. And, oh man, it's going to take more money than George Soros, but George Soros has got such class. I mean, I just really love his action. He's so funny. You know? He currently is giving more money to the Soviet Union to help them recover than the United States is. More than the United States. And listen, when the bottom dropped out of the stock market for a couple of days there, he lost $1 billion. $1 billion. And wasn't he a good sport about it? He says, oh, that's about as much as I made if I did the run on the Bank of England.
Well, you gave $500 billion to the Russians the next day. Ted Turner gave $1 billion to the UN.
Yeah. Well, I've been praying for that for a long time, because we used to have like these rich liberals, like Roosevelt and those guys. I like those rich Democrats, man. They're really helpful. We could use some of them. Donnie, you want to get on there?
I just wanted to ask you what help you needed from us to help you run for president.
Okay, good, thank you. Steve's going to make an announcement in High Times, when it comes time. And the idea is to get a little bubble in every state if I can, Well, the Peace Heathens already told me they're going to try to help out up in Seattle, Yeah, I love them too. They're great. And I like that name, the Peace Heathens, Yeah. Well, I was told by an American Indian, he says, I'm so tired of you guys calling us the heathens. He says that I went and looked it up to see who the hell are the heathens. He says, I looked it up and says, you know who the heathens are? The people of the heather. You know who the people of the heather are? English poor people out in the country. You are the heathens, not me. But to have a media bubble, somebody do a press conference, and try to coordinate media bubbles hitting about the same day on a big thing, because like if the press sees something happening widespread like that, they'll pick it up on the wire services. So what we've always done, and this I don't think is just the farm trip, this is something I learned from the Merry Pranksters, that when you run into the cops, you get them on your trip. And in the same way that we never paid for promo. We just did something so weird and outrageous that they do headlines about it. We got more space than we could have afforded to buy anyway. And that's the way what we're going to do this one too. And so folks can come out wherever they are and do press conferences about it, and talk about we're going to do this and that. And what that does, what I want that to do is to add credibility to it when I start talking about how many of us there are. Because I'm pretty dead certain there's at least twice as many of us as there are Ross Perot supporters. I don't think that's an out-of-hand estimate to say there's twice as many of us as are Ross Perot. And Ross Perot scared hell out of them. And who I'm taking for my teachers on how to do this thing is him and Jesse. Jesse Jackson and Jerry Brown, because what you do is you get it right up in their back and be a pain in the ass and bring up all the issues that they don't want to talk about and put those issues on the table with the press. So when the press goes from your press conference to their press conference, they say, well, Mr. Gore, they say that there's 25 million grass smokers in the United States. Are you going to stiff that many people? And other good kind of questions like that.
So you're going to need to get the committees in every state going at a certain point. You're going to have to look like a serious candidate to stay in the debate.
Yes, exactly.
And the most important thing for people, the most effective thing people can do to help, of course, is to run for local offices yourself.
Yes. Get you on local offices on ballots and stuff, and then say that, well, we're not just a local party, we have a national branch,
And Stephen mentioned that registering voters is a legal option that you can do, and have a table that has medical marijuana available and all the other nonsense right in front of City Hall somewhere like San Francisco or Berkeley.
Yes.
And at the same time, that the medical marijuana thing gives you a chance to register what party?
Yeah, hippie party. Hippie party. Please go. It's one of those truth in advertising things, you know, like Whole Hope, they're square and boxy, but they're good, you know. This is the hippie party. It's like that.
What is hip?
Well, hip is to be knowledgeable.
Bring on
You
that
know,
Gypsies.
that was the thing about that. Okay.
Have you considered running in the Democratic primaries?
Well, that's my plan.
Early
See,
Democratic
that's the
primaries?
plan, is to announce in Nashville, in Al Gore's home territory, and the first thing I want to do is contest him for the Democratic nomination. And they're going to put that, the newspapers in Nashville and the wire service guys that know us in Nashville are going to have a lot of fun with that, I think. Yeah, I think it's going to be great fun, you know. And I am going to be honorable. I am not going to rank on Al about smoking. No, I ain't going to rank on him about it. It's public knowledge. It's all going to be talked about. I ain't going to rank on him about it.
Well, unlike Bill, he and Tipper both said that they enjoyed it, yeah?
Yeah, well, yeah.
They would do it and try it again, huh?
Let me tell you about just a brief thing about Al, so you know how it is with him. I know him. I personally believe him to be an honest man. I have seen him make compromises that pissed me off in order to stay in the game. And that's the problem, is because I have to think those over, and I say, well, it pissed me off for him to make that compromise, but would have pissed me off more to see a guy I think is pretty honest be taken out at that level when he ain't up to the next level yet. So I've got a bunch of IOUs from him that I'm holding about the compromises I've seen him make, you know, which at whatever time I will buy those IOUs or sell them to AP or something, you know. But that's how my relationship with him now. I'm provisionally hoping that he's okay. And what I want to do is make him know that there's 25 million people smoking marijuana now. There's another 25 million people who are still sentimental about it. They're being pee-tested or something, you know, but who still feel good about it. And they say 80 million people have tried it. Well, you know, so some of them had paranoid bummers and hated it forever, but not very many of them, not all of them, you know, and the most of them. And if we are light and funny, have a good sense of humor, don't get nasty and low down about how we do the fight, do it clean and honorable from the high ground. And also, I want to put marijuana third on my platform after universal health care and campaign finance reform. Because none of the rest of it means a shit without the campaign finance reform, because we are currently bought and owned. You know, and we need to get out from under being bought as we are right now. We have the best legislature money can buy.
All right, let's see some free bud.
Well, what we're going to do now is give you a little free other good things. We have other good things here too. So what we're going to go to now here is we're going to have some gypsies up here in just a minute, and we'll have the Shakti come and do a little something about all this talking stuff. And then we have some people here who have whispered in my ear that they wanted to pass among you with certain herbal things.
There you go.
And
Hey, babes.
Magic cap?
We got the magic cap.
Free bud.
that's very sweet of you.
Anybody opposed?
Anything
Guys out.
that comes in for this kind of a purpose will be used for media or office expense and that kind of stuff only. You know, for the thing. Hey, we have here the rainbow of gypsies going to do it to you.
much. We do this in honor of Gaia, Pachamama, Mother Earth. Because, you know, Mother Earth is the one who brings us cannabis. And she wants us to intake of this healing herb. She gave this to us for our healing, for our medicine, for our clothes. You know, it used to cover the entire planet. And it has been systematically removed from the planet. So that people who make chemicals and people who make who cut timber down for trees instead of hemp for paper, these are the people who have removed it from the planet. So it's very important for us to bring this beautiful herb back. And it's from our Mother Earth.
Hey, where's my coat? Oh, Jim's got my coat.
The Gypsies feel that it's a long time waiting for the change.
Oh, no, it's right here.
That it's absurd that a plant is illegal in the world. It is of great, great relief that we spend this time in Amsterdam, where we feel the experience of an oasis of semi-legalized freedom. All aboard the high hemp train. Get you out to get the high hemp train. Everything changes, nothing remains the same. Everything changes, all aboard the train, all aboard the train, all aboard the train. The past is gone, the future's near, but neither are here. When love is strong and vision clear, there's no room for fear. There is no fear. There is no fear. There is no fear. Cannabis is here. Cannabis and freedom are here. Cannabis and freedom are here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this movement takes people. So to express in a metaphoric ritual experience the unity of all people for freedom, and especially the freedom to smoke cannabis, I ask you all to chant with us together. Freedom is here. There is no fear. Come along on the transformation train. Are you ready? All aboard transformation train. We can change things. Get you out to get transformation train. Everything changes, nothing remains the same. Everything changes, all aboard the train, all aboard the train, there is nothing. Okay, and now we take a song traditional from the United States, originally written about the bayou in New Orleans, but carried over to the total land and foreign lands as well. Made popular by someone you may recognize. We have a little angle on it.
Ganja coming, so we won't go home. I said, day-oh. A ganja coming, so we won't go home.
When we go down to Amsterdam town,
And we won't go home.
we gonna roll it and pass it around.
Ganja coming, so we won't go home.
I said, day-oh,
Oh, ganja coming, so we won't go home.
I said, day-oh,
Oh, ganja coming, so we won't go home.
we go to the oasis now.
Ganja coming, so we won't go home.
They better legalize it or they don't know what for.
Ganja coming, so we won't go home.
I said, day-oh, let's hear it. Day-oh,
Ganja coming and we won't go
everyone.
home.
Day-oh, day-oh.
Oh,
The ganja coming and we won't go home. I said, day-oh, day-oh. Ganja coming and we won't go home. I said, day-oh, day-oh. Ganja coming and we won't go home. We won't
Budgiver. Woo. Let him give the bud. Budgiver.
Now we got a couple of ceremonies that's going to have to go on here. I was whispered by some people that they wanted to give you some bud.
Yay!
So if there's somebody, let's start off with one of those ceremonies.
Right.
Some of the folks who came here to do that. Are you here, are you? All right, there we go. Greenhouse, want to use this mic a little bit?
Thanks, Steve. Well, welcome again in the 420 in Melkweg. I got some bud with me. I have a little bit more than yesterday. Yesterday we just had a few bags, but I'm really glad to see you all here. I hope you have been visiting the greenhouse already. And otherwise I hope to see you in the next few days. The greenhouse exists now 6 years, and the last 6 years we won 13 cannabis cups. I'm a breeder, so I combine that with my coffee shops. It's a really good combination for us, of course, here in Holland, because I'm probably the only one. And every year when all you people come back, I see you coming back every year. A lot of you guys I saw 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and 4 years ago, and women, of course, sorry. I mean the same. I would like to hand out some pot now. We got this year the entries. In the High Rock Cup we got the Silver Haze. I let one of the girls help. One of the cannabis queens of this year. She's gonna pass out a few. And we also have with us the bio entry. And we're gonna give that out too. I would like to give it to the next guest we have here.
All right. This is such fun.
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Well, these young, we're going through the crowd we have here.
Yes.
So well.
Okay, want to come over?
Yeah, Gene the Budgiver.
Good evening. My name is Radar. I'm with Serious Seeds, and I see that Arian's taking care of the bud today. But if you want to try out the bud of the Cannabis Cup, hopefully the new Serious product is going to be dry tomorrow. You guys come every year, like Arian said, right on time. But you know, if you're a grower, the bud's never on time. We're always waiting. And it's going to be done. So come here tomorrow to check out this new Serious product. Also, everybody keeps asking about White Russian. Where's last year's best pot? The seeds will be available next week. You know how this business is. If you're not running late, you're not getting it done at all. Yes. Okay, sorry. Better? That light keeps blinding me when I'm all the way back here, though. You know? So,
You're not supposed to see us anyway.
It does help sometimes, you know? Don't you help? Also, I have a couple comments. Steve was talking about California.
Cali.
California has it. Proposition 215, read the 9th Amendment. It is in your Bill of Rights. They cannot take away what you have voted for. And then they try to say, well, yeah, they're trying to, but don't let them. When you have it on paper, use it to your advantage. They're trying to say 2/3 of the states have the control. Well, how come prohibition is in some states but not in all 2/3 of the states? How come prostitution is legal in Vegas but not in 2/3 of all the states? How come gambling is legal in Vegas but not 2/3 of all the states? Don't let them use that baloney on you. Take what is in writing. That is what they're basing everything on. And I hope good luck for Steve. If I could vote, I would vote for him. Of course, I am American, and I can tell you that the illegality of the way we lived in America, that stress factor is very hard on your life. I've been here for a few years now. I've been lucky enough to score a job in this great country. And computers, information, understanding. And that is how I got my job. And so I'm trying to pass that understanding to you. I feel great. I am happy. I feel more fit. My mind is more at ease. Always before, no matter what you had, it seems like you're running around making sure that you're not being caught. You go to the bar, you meet your friends, and what do? You go out into the car to smoke a joint. You know? Why? Why? You know, the stress factor that you have to live to hide every day with that feeling breaks down your immune system. I just saw a report on the BBC One. Stress is harmful to your life. Yeah. And they are inducing an unfair stress upon the people.
Quit your job and grow a hair.
I agree. Like Steve said, sometimes you have to do these ridiculous things to bring it so much to the front.
Everybody should just say salute for one half of a life.
Bill.
I mean, I congratulate my friend Todd McCormick, who in California. I mean, he is one of the people who is pushing the issue, and he has the right. And I'm glad to see many people supporting him. We need more things like that. Once it boils over, they can't stop it. The problem they try to keep turning down our heat. They don't let us go too far, and they do that by separating us. And that comes with the racial things, also, like Steve was saying. And one way to stay away from that is don't even let yourself be categorized. People are always categorizing us as pot smokers, hippies, junkies, and what's this? I'm sorry. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, well, I see all kinds of reforms for the future. I don't think a law should be effective unless if all the people who voted on it are dead now. I mean, how can the dead rule the living? It doesn't make any sense. I don't want no dead law ruling my living. Just like cannabis, 37 that they passed that law? Anybody here born in 1937? A couple. But God, there isn't enough percentage to rule my life. Anyway, come tomorrow, please, and check out the new Sirius product. Definitely one of the best.
Thank you, Radar.
Radar!
You know, one of the things he's talking about, there's something already underway. There's a guy named Bobby Faust. I don't know if you know, a few people must know Bobby.
Bobby!
Rainbow brother. And Bobby's got this scheme going where what he wants to do is organize that on some date a little later down the line into the election, a little closer, to have 100 medical marijuana people turn themselves in their state capitals holding a bag apiece and get arrested and demand jury trials. And hit 100 in every state capital on the same day and all demand jury trials. This friend told me one time that the way you sharpen a garbage disposal is you drop a Coke bottle in it. And that'll sharpen up your garbage disposal. I thought that was true. It may be, for all I know. I've done it at plenty of people's houses. But this is one of those kind of things where what Bobby's going to do is drop a Coke bottle in the garbage disposal of the whole United States at once. And listen to it chew for a spell. You ready, sir?
Well, I saw put his hand up as somebody that was alive in 37. I don't know how many of you were alive in 48. Well, I've been smoking pot as long as those people have been alive. Yeah. It's my 50th year, and I would have had a chance at the medical to say a couple words, but it was short and a lot of speakers, and I'm sure High Times will cover one day.
What did they
medical
call it?
Ghee.
What did they call it when you bought it?
DDS.NL, one of those psychedelic relics. And here's my contribution to the Cannabis Cups this year. I want to give it to to Peter, and he'll find where I have more with me. But this is sunflower oil, natural sunflower oil. And unlike with the THC content, like a vaporizer and everything, when I transfer with oil, I get all the CBD, all the other stuff, all the medicinal value. And growers that give it to me, I know that they use beetles and stuff for their bugs, that they all the bio is natural and so on and so forth. So I know the leaf, and like you should know your grower if you buy at home, or have to know your dealer or your chemist, as Tim said. All of those little axioms, waste not, want not, ask for something you don't need, you might get something you don't want, all of that stuff from Rainbow, it works. So I've been here 2.5 years now. I have a black job. I get paid under the, all my life I've been paid under the day, what table, you know? Convicted of drugs in my 20s, did 4 years, Arizona, California, and so on and so forth, in my 20s, over this stuff, so. I know the movement and I know what's going on, and try to stay in touch as a writer and journalist. And after 50 years of smoking, I recommend that you eat more than you smoke. You'll upgrade the value of the stuff that you do smoke, maybe in chillums, this, that, and the other. It's more ceremony than habit. Your bowels will move better, you sleep better at night, you have colorful dreams, all the rest of it.
We'll talk forever.
I want to talk about that sometime when they give me a chance at
He'll talk forever.
over at Pac's house. But what I want to talk about here, that's an influence to all you guys, and it's part of 420, is that the last great expo of the 20th century is in Lisbon next year. Starts in March and ends in September. And the Dutch and the Netherlands, the Portuguese governments I've talked to about, there has to be a hemp day. Donnie, there has to be a hemp day. If there's a Portugal day, if there's a Netherlands day, if there's an Australian day, if there's a US day, if there's a this day and that, we've got 183 days named after, there has to be a hemp day. And I'm on my way back down there to try to negotiate that. I'll speak to Spokane in '74, the Rainbow family did the park, High Bridge Park, and that was the hippies hangout with the yips and so on and so forth. In '74, when Nixon was getting rushed out of the Nixon's war, we're still living it. And don't you love the bubble of safety in Holland? Make sure you visit the greenhouse and look, you mothers, some of the old timers that have been around, Bluebird and etc. Check out some of the Dutch coffee shops on your way. Hang out, talk with Dutch people, and see what's going on. A lot's changing in Europe. And I appreciate the time. I recommend that you guys, all of you, when you go home, register to vote. You know, you register his hip party and they got to cover it, like they did Jerry Brown and other people in alternative parties, yeah. But if you write him in as a Democratic candidate, they got to give, I mean, write-ins, they forced to count. And that's like late night, the next night, or a week later, California, it's 2 weeks later, they count the write-ins. So all of a sudden you got a blip on the media all by himself. So, you know, I know the politics there, you guys keep it up, you're another generation. I'm trying to understand your music, but in the meantime, I know how the smoke works, and we'll keep the communion going. Thanks, Steve, for the tip.
Bless you, man. What you got? Okay, well, wait, I'll tell you what, I'm directed by Mission Control to do something first, which is, we want some nominations spoken here. And some people were telling me if they had nominations they wanted to
Northern Lights 5 Haze.
Northern Lights 5 Haze. Now we need a writer downer. You got a note? Is that you? Do you have a pencil right there in front of you? You have that piece of paper in front of you? Is that something to write on?
Awesome.
Could you write down this? Yes.
Sativa.
Manager up here.
Oh, you got my yesterday's notebook. Well, if you got a pen, can you just take the notes for me? Okay, Northern Lights Haze 5.
Yeah.
And who's this?
Sensi.
That's Cincy?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Cincy.
Warlock.
Huh?
Bluebird.
Now she's writing down the Northern Lights 5 Haze Cincy, and I'm collecting from this red-headed guy right here. Yes, yes, sir. You.
Warlock.
Warlock. From what house? Bluebird. Okay.
Yellow cab.
Okay, have you got Warlock Bluebird there? Okay, yellow cab.
Gray area.
From gray area. Wait a second, you don't get too far ahead. Jack here? From Lucky Mother. Okay, and then what was it?
I grew that.
What was this one?
Really? Yeah, it's my first crop.
Really?
Somebody had
sure.
Collie Mist, right?
Cool.
When you get done with that one, then the next one.
Where's ours on?
Okay, Collie
Let you
Mist
know how good it is.
from Collie Mist is gray area.
Bring it over to greenhouse and show like ours on over there. Yeah.
Siberian Tiger from Siberia.
What?
Siberian Tiger from Siberia. That's cute.
Thank you. It's my first.
Nova Skunk,
Where'd you grow it?
Soma Skunk, Soma Skunk Bluebird. Okay.
Can I have a taste?
Yes.
Dutch flowers. Wait a second, I want to hear the house for Dutch flowers. Huh?
All right.
Temple balls.
Excellent.
Yeah, actually. Will you pass that around?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Of
give you
course.
some more then.
Okay.
Shivers from Dutch flowers.
No tobacco.
Okay.
tobacco.
Now
No
what?
tobacco.
No, wouldn't waste it.
C5. C5 from Dom Crane. C5 from Dom Crane. Wait a second, she's getting this one down. Super Silver Haze from Greenhouse.
Yellow cab.
Do we have? I think we have yellow cab.
I got a sample here.
Somebody's got some yellow cab if anybody's interested. Okay. Also, didn't somebody from yellow cab from where? Gray area.
Yeah.
Okay. Now somebody from Cincy Seeds spoke to me earlier about wanting to pass out some. Are you here?
Yeah.
Guy from Cincy Seeds, are you here?
Your first batch.
Yeah, the guy with the big bud on his hat and the maple leaf bud on his hat, right?
That's
Where's he? Let's see. Yeah, he's
Hey, Bill.
he's just into a time warp or something, huh? How many have we got there? Please. Okay, she's taking another. It's interesting. I heard some of these same ones yesterday too.
I want to try that yellow
Kryptonite?
there. Coming your way. Yes.
Want to nominate that? Yes. Okay, are you okay? Kryptonite from Bluebird. One more. Kryptonite from Bluebird.
Put that in after you're done.
Who's White Shark?
Greenhouse.
Greenhouse.
Good smoke.
Okay. White Shark from Greenhouse.
Yeah, wasn't that nice?
I'm getting stoned talking about it.
Nice.
I'm Adam.
Norman.
Did you go up there, Adam?
That's 15 nominations today.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
Show your stuff.
I say that.
Sure did. Yeah!
Oh, nominate. We're going to make a couple of hash nominations now. And what's it? Okay, King Husan from Greenhouse. A
Yeah!
hash
Woo! Bravo! Give him the
Okay,
cup.
another hash nomination. Moroccan shoes from Gray Area. Yeah, all right.
Probably almost done as well. No something still.
We're having a little judge bribing here. Hold on. See, this is
Hey, some of them, I can be bribed, maybe.
See, this is Republican-style campaign finance reform. You just do it openly, right under the light and everything. That way, that helps take the critics off.
Bribing is right there.
Okay.
From the Bluebird,
Yeah.
Maserati Sharif, Afghani.
Steve, there's definitely very Afghani at the moment.
Alright. I gotta go off. I'm running out of everything.
That's actually very nice. Oh. It does those little puffs up into your sinuses that do their own little flower thing. That was nice. That was nice. Thank you, Russ.
My second favorite.
Sputnik, who's that from?
It's from Morocco, but it's from the
So,
I heard a little bit of I got a few songs on the joint here. It's actually from the police.
Free bud.